To my dearest friend, I hope this letter finds you well. I have decided today to write to you on the subject of my recent adventures on Thysalen. My leg is nearly healed, and I believe I will soon be out on the road again. But for now, I wish to tell you of an interesting place just north of the ruined city of Mosscrest, a farm named Bitteroot Folly. When first arriving to the shores of the Midlands, the rolling hills and lush forests are a beauty to behold. Many small settlements and farms line the miller's way, the road that follows the coastline. Eventually you will stumble across the ruined city of Mosscrest, the once capital city and seat of House Merland. If you ask anyone what the people of the Midlands do best, they will tell you farming and trading. With most of the region's coastline touching the Sea of Mist, they had to be exceptional shipbuilders so they could transport goods all over Thysalen. Building cogs are their specialty, as these large single-masted ships are perfect for transporting a large amount of merchant goods from one port to another, especially the goods from farms and vineyards. Just north of Mosscrest is a small farm that had stood the test of time. Originally known as the North Glen and owned by an elven family called Remnel. Being successful farmers and the favorites of House Merlin, the farm was tasked to supply not just the city but the castle with their bountiful harvest. Even in the off years when most farms were hit by infestation of bad crops, North Glen would still be successful. Rumor had it that their water source from the Whispering Well was blessed by the goddess Andraste, and as long as the crops were watered from this well, they would always grow. Hundreds of years later, it's Baron Remnel's turn to run the farm. Employing halflings and gnomes for cheap wages, Baron had it easy as these races tended to travel from the half-wood region of Thysalen looking for work and adventure. Being smaller than dwarves, these races were easy to physically control. Known for his cruelty, Baron tended to correct his lazy workers with the horse's crop he always carried around. Once a week, Varen and some of his best workers would go to Potter's Square to sell their goods. The task of selling all of the crops fell on the workers, while Varen would sneak off to the Short and Stout, a tavern on Aylmore Way just outside of the Red Lamp district. One day, a curious halfling worker by the name of Theoden Boffin followed Varen to the Short and Stout, and using his small stature sat upon the rafters and watched Varen play a game called The Fox and the Geese. One day, when cleaning the horse corral, Varen accused Theoden of being lazy and started to hit the halfling with the dreaded riding crop. While shielding himself, Theoden yelled, "I bet you that if I win at a game of The Fox and Geese, you will never hit me again." Sensing an easy bet, Varen countered, "If I win, what do I get?" Responding quickly without hesitation, "A month's pay," replied the halfling. So the game began and Theoden won his game. But being an elf with a high ego and not being one to lose, the bet kept increasing as the halfling kept winning game after game. Eventually it came to the bet of the farm. With one last jump over the goose, Theoden won the deed to the farm. Losing everything his family has ever worked for, Baron ran to the city watch and accused Theoden of cheating and using magic to win the farm. Theoden was brought before Lord Merland, and many witnesses came in defense of the halfling, and Varen was banished from Mosscrest, never to be seen again. Taking over the farm, Theoden renamed it to Bitteroot Folly. For several years the farm was successful, and under Theoden and his family the pay was raised for the workers and the farm became more bountiful. Then the Colovians came. During the siege of Mosscrest, while many farms were burned, Bitteroot Folly was spared as it acted as a field hospital for the Colovian soldiers. Being grateful to Theoden for his generosity and care of his soldiers, Lord Suxton granted Bitteroot Folly protection from the battle. After the battle, Mosscrest was in ruin and Lord Hector Merlin moved the capital city to Bruggen. Theoden turned down an offer to move the farm to Bruggen as well, instead choosing to stay on his land as the market was only a day's ride away. The farm would be passed down through the Boffin clan, and Mosscrest, the once great city, would become a shadow of what it once was. The land surrounding Mosscrest is still beautiful with small settlements and rolling hills, a peaceful area, while within the walls of the ruined city, specters and the undead roam. But that is a story for another day. Thank you for taking the time to read this letter. As always, safe travels.